Therefore, behold, I send you prophets, wise men, and scribes.
Wednesday, 10th August, 2022.
But because these people had they had a playlist, they had a script. They had a script from the princes of this world. They locked down everyone. What is the effect? You can see it everywhere. Super inflation everywhere. The economies have collapsed. Sri Lanka, they collapsed so bad that they even overthrew their president. Interestingly, all it took was for these people to listen to the wisdom of God. Did we not talk about these things? About the collapse last year before September?
Yes.
Did we not talk about it?
Yes.
And what is going to happen?
Yes.
It is now much worse than even I would have imagined in my wildest dreams. So you can imagine how terrible it is. You understand? Eh? I am saying, and we've told you that, what are they called? Currencies collapsing, and people rioting from one country to another. You've seen what has happened in Canada. You were following what was happening in the Netherlands, in France itself. I am telling you, September, what I saw just 2 days back. 2 days back I was walking, and then the Lord showed me a vision, and I saw something coming. And he said that I saw it coming, and it was, I saw the layers of what do you call them? Time, So I saw the layer of July, then I saw it coming, rather June 1st, and it had come from before June. So I saw it coming from June, then it went into July, it was coming closer. Then I saw it coming through August, then I saw it was coming towards September. Then I added that to what the Lord had told us here, about how September, another phase is coming, which is not going to be good. We prayed about that, right?
Yes.
Now, I will tell you, you are going to see riots. You are going to see civil unrest at a level unimagined before the close of this year. I know the places where those riots are going to place, but I don't want to talk about them. Okay, let me talk about them. You are going to see them a lot in Europe. Praise the Lord Jesus. Riots before winter, before November. You are going to see them. You are going to see them.
Just the next day, 11th August 2022, Germany's government began to take caution on coming protests. In what some are dubbing an autumn of discontent ahead of a winter of discontent, countries across Europe have erupted in massive strikes, protests and riots, exactly as foretold by the prophet of God, Prophet Andrew Jacob. These protests are mainly driven by the increasing discontent over the skyrocketing cost of living, which have been driven by the rising prices for food, fuel, and gas. As a result, there has been an unprecedented scale of protests in a European uprising, chiefly against NATO and the European Union. Prophet Andrew foretold an outbreak of riots before the European winter, and specifically before November 2022. The series of protests in the Czech Republic and across the rest of Europe as a fulfillment of this prophecy began in the Czech Republic on Saturday, 3rd September 2022.
Tens of thousands of protesters took to the streets in Prague in a massive show of protest against the Czech government on Saturday. Protesters from the far right and far left joined forces to rally against the country's government. The protesters demanded the resignation of the current coalition government led by the Conservative Prime Minister Petr Fiala, criticizing it for a number of issues including its Western-oriented policies. An estimated 70,000 people called on the ruling coalition to do more to control the soaring energy prices and voiced their opposition to the European Union and the NATO.
You are going to see them a lot in Europe. Praise the Lord Jesus. Riots before winter, before November. You are going to see them. You are going to see them.
In fulfillment of the prophecy by man of God, Prophet Andrew Jacob, protests are broken out across Europe from the time the word went forth in August to just before November 2022. Protests have erupted across more than 8 European countries, including the Czech Republic, Slovakia, France, Germany, the United Kingdom, Belgium, Austria, Italy, Moldova, Spain, and Portugal.
Czech Republic first, not EU or NATO. We have seen massive protests all over Europe, including France, Germany, Czech Republic, Italy, Belgium, Spain, Austria. But the mainstream media ignored them all. In Germany, protests are happening almost every day in 500 cities and towns around the country against the globalist government, the high cost of living, inflation, and also against EU and NATO. In France, food and energy crisis have led to nationwide protests. A great march called March October 16 in French capital attracted tens of thousands of Paris residents. They demanded the withdrawal from EU and NATO and demand the Macron authority to raise salaries. The view from above shown that tens of thousands of people joined the demonstration because they can no longer stand the high food and energy prices that all caused by the decision of politicians. In Italy, mass demonstration in Rome and Trieste also against EU and NATO. Thousands of Italians demanded no to arms to Ukraine, no to sanctions, no to NATO, and no to EU policies. In Belgium, massive human tie also against European Union in Brussels because of the soaring energy prices and inflation. Thousands of Belgian people gather in front of EU headquarters. They are fed up with their corrupt government and EU. They also don't want anything related to the World Economic Forum, because the EU and WEF policy are crippling the economy and destroying the farming industry. In Germany, a massive rally was held in Leipzig against the energy crisis. In Moldova, thousands of protesters gathered outside the parliament building in Chisinau. They demanded the resignation of the government and blamed the corrupt politicians for the energy crisis. Protesters kept chanting, "Down with the dictatorship, down with Sandu, resign."
The prophet of God points out the root cause of this social unrest.
Why? Because wisdom, the rulers of this world decided to follow the wisdom of the princes of this world. Let me just urge you. I will not speak like like the religious men you are used to. I will speak like a prophet of God. Praise the Lord Jesus. Amen. Let me urge you. Increasingly, it is going to become, I said this before and I have to remind you, it is going to become very costly to ignore the wisdom of God. We are now seeing nations suffering for that.
However, we speak wisdom among those who are mature, yet none the wisdom of this age, none of the rulers of this age, who are coming to nothing. But we speak the wisdom of God in a mystery, the hidden wisdom which God ordained before the ages for our glory, which none of the rulers of this age knew. For had they known, they would not have crucified the Lord of glory.